Hey everyone, Surfers here, and let's go ahead and talk about these new cards. And the first thing is there is a new keyword. It is Nightfall bonus if this is not the first card you played this round. So it's first card and then everything after. It's not the second card, it's the first card then everything after. And this is a pretty funny image, so let's go ahead and see what that card is. There we go. It is the Stygian Onlooker? Stygian Onlooker? I don't know how to say it. Don't make fun of me. Nightfall. Give me +2/0 and fearsome this round. This card is great. So first off, we have, 1 mana 2/1. If it's not Nightfall, that's fine. It doesn't really matter, but it scales up, and one drops that scale are always pretty nice. It becomes a 4/1 with fearsome. That's pretty sweet, especially when Shadow Isles, it has so many low-cost drops that are super effective early game. So it's very aggressive playstyle, high-tempo playstyle. This fits right into that. It fits perfectly into that. So I think we'll see this card a lot. Very, very strong, very flexible, so it's a very good card in my opinion. The Doom Beast, Nightfall, drain 2 from the enemy nexus. I think this card is also really great, and the reason being is that Shadow Isles didn't have reach before. That's one of the issues that it had. You could level up Callista, and without Atrocity, that was your reach. But this reach works in anything, and on top of that, it also works for aggressive decks because it's a burn style play. Pretty sweet overall. And then it kind of works for the control list as well because it's still draining too, and it's a good finisher. I just see this card as incredibly flexible. Yeah, it's a 3-mana 3/2 with Nightfall, but with so many options in Shadow Isles to trigger this, it's really not a huge thing. On top of that, you can play a spell too. You can play Vile Feast and then play this. It's pretty solid overall. I really like this card. I think it's pretty good. Alright, first card that I'm not as hyped on is Duskrider. Fearsome, Nightfall, grant me +1/0 for each time we've activated Nightfall this game. It's really hard to place this card because we haven't seen Nightfall. We don't know what Nocturne does yet. But the thing is, though, it has to be some kind of big payoff. Because right now, even if this is a 5-mana 8/5, I don't know how much I'm convinced on it. I don't know. That'd be a ton of Nightfall before turn 5, though. That'd be so much Nightfall before turn 5. There'd have to be some really great cards and really great combos. I don't really see this ramping up to that level even. 5-mana 5/5 with Fearsome, I guess, isn't the worst thing ever, but the issue being is that it doesn't have a really effect when it hits the board, comparing it to other 5-cost cards. It's not really doing all that much. It's kind of there, and it doesn't really fit the aggressive plays that SI likes to make, and it's not really helping with sustaining it either, so it doesn't really fit control. This is kind of a mid-range card when SI is either combo, aggressive, or slow control. So I just don't know where this would fit unless a Nocturne or another card gives this a better payoff, or this helps toward a payoff of another card, is my thought on it. Alright, this card, Passage Unearned, Fast Spell. Fast Spell is important that it's not a slow spell. That makes a very big difference. Obliterate all units that were summoned but not played this round. So Harrowing, this kills everything from Harrowing, for example. Rekindler kills, it says units too, so that includes champions. That's really important to note. And it's Obliterate as well. But yeah, that's pretty nuts overall, but it's not very flexible. Sure, there's Petty Officer and Bilgewater that summons something, but you don't want to do a 3-mana kill 1 cost. So it seems like a tournament tech at the time of if you're expecting, when we had the Darrowing earlier and everyone was playing Noxus with Harrowing in it, this would have been a great card to counter that meta. So it could be meta dependent in that way, but of course Darrowing really never would have caught on with this card being around because everyone would just play Shadow Isles. It is kind of funny that Shadow Isles is there to counter Shadow Isles. So right now I see this card as a tech for tournaments, but I don't really see it hitting the ladder just because of how dead it will be against some decks. It's literally an unplayable card against some decks. So we'll see what happens in the future with that one. And then after that, this is the Encroaching Shadows burst. 4 mana. It is nice, it's a burst. Grant all allies in deck and hand plus 2/2 and ephemeral. So this is a Shark Chariot Hecarim deck or card, I should say. I was already thinking about the deck itself. That is definitely a buff for that for sure. It's a very interesting card. It's a little bit slow, but giving everything ephemeral is so interesting. It's so hard to place it. I was thinking maybe putting it with Elusives and Ionia. That sounds pretty dirty, but I think it's a little bit slow for that. This just seems like a full, we're trying to get ephemerals to be better. It's a bit weird. It is all allies, like, it's just everything dies whenever you attack. So I don't know. I think I see it as being a gimmick, but it's really hard to say. It is really hard to talk about this card. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to experiment with. I think Encroaching Shadows is the card I'm most excited to experiment with, but oh, it's so hard to place, and it's really hard to place Nightfall without knowing Nocturne and if there's more payoff than that. But it's a pretty cool concept overall, and I'm really excited about these cards. For the ones where they've only showed us like 5 cards, I think these are probably the ones I've been the most excited about. I don't know, I really like the Taric stuff too, but I'm really excited to see what we get tomorrow. I won't be able to make a video on it because I'm going to be out of town, but I will probably tweet what I think about it just because it helps me to get my mind off of things, because with my I'm going to be going out of town to visit my grandfather because he had a second stroke. But yeah, I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone.
That's how we do things in Bilgewater.